Hey pilots, thanks for joining me for another kit review video. In this review, we're going to be talking about the 30-minute missions EVA, which is Extended Armament Vehicle Submachine version. Now, as you can see from what I have here, there is a bit of a change from the standard kit. I swapped out the arms for a nice little servo claw. And that's just because that's what I wanted to do. That's the extent of my custom work, besides like maybe some painting and maybe some panel lining, or some scribing, but I don't think I'm going to scribe this. I think I'm probably just going to go straight to a paint and decal. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing in terms of customization for this kit. And I'm just leading with that because there's really nothing else I'm going to do with it for the customization. But let's get down into the actual details with this kit. It is a 2022 model kit from the 30-minute mission series. It is a combination of an actual like model kit, like a miniature model kit in itself, as well as an options part set for 30-minute missions. The nice part about this kit, and I'll get into it more when I switch to the kit cam, but it comes with basically a lower leg portion for an actual 30-minute mission suit, like a full size like $15 to $20 kit version. It comes with essentially what is a torso, and it can also mount a backpack on that, and some other options that are in here. You can also kind of use some of the joint systems with some of the newer 30-minute mission kits, or swap them into one of the older ones because of the way that it's actually built, which is really intelligent. And there's a lot you can actually do with the kit as an option set. I want to talk about the ease of assembly and the cleanup for this kit. It was really easy. I'm going to be straight up. It was, I basically cut it with some God hands off the runners and then took a hobby knife to it, and it was basically golden. Because it almost feels like it's a softer plastic as opposed to like a Gundam high grade kit or something along those lines. It seems like a softer type plastic, which for the God hands or a really good hobby knife, like if you guys are constantly swapping your hobby knife blades so that you get like a pretty decently sharp to like kind of average sharpness on that blade and swap those regularly, you'll be able to clean this thing up in no time. There were a couple places, like anything that was rounded, we're in a really like tight spot that I used sandpaper, but I only went up to like 1000 to 1500 grit and it looks fine. I don't notice any nub marks on it. The biggest issue that I think we'll run into, and this isn't even that big of an issue, is that there are a couple pieces that have some pretty apparent seam lines, but really this thing is injected very well. And be careful to look at your instructions and actually look at the part, because you're going to look at some stuff and think it's a seam line and it's not. So just be very careful with that. And it's really detailed. That's something that surprised me about the 30-minute missions kit. I know it has like the obvious peg holes that either you're going to have to fill if you really want to get into like some real detail work with these kits, or like to put something in there just for versatility. I'm not really going to do that. I might wind up going back and throwing in some pegs from some of these options kits and some of the giant Gatling things that have like the 30mm pegs, but I'm not really too concerned with it. But the actual parts have a lot of detail on them. Like even some of the panel lining is really good. Like I'm fairly surprised about how good these kits are with that. The assembly went pretty well. There's a couple parts that when you're moving, you gotta be really careful with as to not pop them off, but it's not like it's gonna break it. It's just gonna be an inconvenience, which is good. It's like these kits are almost made like you're supposed to take them apart, so it doesn't really, you don't really have to get worried about a whole lot unless you're literally torquing it a way that it's not supposed to move. But yeah, let's take a second here. I'm going to switch to the kit cam and we'll kind of go into some of the detailing on the kit and some of the articulation of the kit. And we're back with the 30-minute mission submachine version, kind of like a little up close picture. There we go. There's some better lighting. So kind of just to show it off, like I was saying earlier, you can see a lot of really good detailing in here. I'm going to try and like do my best to slowly rotate it. Like up here at these like sub arms, it looks really good. The cockpit looks really good. It's got like a little notch in here. There we go. That kind of helps to detail it out a little bit. And it has a lot of panel lining on the top area. So that looks really good there. That looks good. These are part of the Rybots. At least I think that's how you pronounce it, or Rigabot or something like that. Option set. That's where I got these claws and stuff from. This is from an options part 5, like the one that has all the rail guns, and some of the like wrist cannons and a couple other like cool accessories. That's how I was able to do this. And I did this mainly because of this reason. So you can rotate the arm about that axis on this like ball part right here. These even have some detail on them, which is really nice. But what can happen is that, you know, you kind of rotate it down from where I have the resting position, and you can work the claw like this. And the reason why I didn't use a normal like clip to clip joint is because I also wanted to get some articulation about this axis. So it could kind of also grab things like that. That's like the main reason why I did it that way. For the kit itself, it's got pretty decent articulation. So the torso has like a really good up and down articulation and movement. The waist itself, so you go in here, you see the leg ball joint, and that kind of has its own axis that it rotates about. So you can kind of go back and forward with the waist there, or you can kind of move the ball joint here a bit. Even this part rotates. I mean, it'll pop out, so you gotta be careful. It seems like there's a lot of ball joints and a lot of good articulation overall because of those ball joints and the poly caps. Even in here, you know, you get good like leg articulation. These legs can kick out to here, and this rotates all the way down if you want it to stand really tall. If you want to get that kind of like Mech Warrior or Metal Gear type look with the way the legs are positioned, you can always rotate it like this. The problem is that getting the stance consistent on both sides, that's my biggest issue that I'm finding. So you almost have to articulate both sides at the same time and make sure they're even. It's not really that big of a deal. Something that can be easily addressed. The legs also rotate about this kind of axis, almost like the arms would on a high grade. They kick off back and forth. The toe part goes like this. Now this is the only thing. So this part rotates, but you gotta be careful because this one really hasn't been giving me issues, but the other one will want to pop off sometimes. Yeah, like that, if you rotate it a little too much. But it's not really that big of a deal. I'd rather have the articulation anyway. This fits in here pretty snugly, which is good, because that's something I was worried about, is that I wasn't going to fit in that well. The only thing you might want to do is kind of trim it down, because I do have somewhat of a gap here. Again, I'm not really that worried about it. Nobody's really going to see it. And then these obviously rotate. I've talked about these a lot, and the ball joint also, and it also rotates like out. So it gives even more posability for this. You guys already know what the custom part is. The only thing I might do is paint it up a little bit, like nothing too crazy, but I would make it kind of look almost like a construction bot, like probably use like some black and yellow elements on here and do some of those like safety stripes or caution stripes. But yeah, that's pretty much the review that I have for this kit. I'm going to be honest. It's a really good miniature kit. I think it's also really, really good as an option set, because you also get extra parts, which I cover in my initial review of this kit. For this kit, that is all I have. And I hope that this is a good enough review so that you guys can make a really good decision on whether or not you want this kit or do you want to pass on it. Please let me know in the comments whether or not you are thinking about getting this kit. And if this review was helpful, I really appreciate you guys stopping by the hangar. And as always, sortie out and hobby on. Hey pilots, did you like that kit that you just saw in this video? Are you thinking, maybe I should get that for myself? Well, then look no further than the Gundam Shoppers Network. At the Gundam Shoppers Network, you can find kits from 1/144 to perfect grade scale. And not only that, they also have other model kits that will suit your fancy no matter what your hobbying style is. They have Pokemon kits, they have 30-minute mission kits, they have kits left and right. And not only that, they also have a system in place where if they don't have the kit, they can direct you to a vendor that does. There is a community resources tab that has Gundam tutorials, Gundam tips and tricks, and preferred US and international retailers that have been thoroughly vetted through as to ensure that they are a legitimate vendor as well as a trusted vendor. Now, if you guys are looking to get a jump start on some of the other purchasers of these kits, then I highly recommend joining the GSN Discord. They have that link on their Facebook page. If you have a Facebook, just search up the Gundam Shoppers Network and it will take you to either their personal page or their own group. And there you have it. You'll be sorted for all your hobbies to come.